Hi everybody. Some people wanted an update on the garden, so I figured I'd come out and give a little hello. I'm not squinting at you guys, it's just really bright. I live in New Mexico. 360 whatever days of sunlight. I think it's 360. It's not really though. So that's looking west over my shoulder. So all the sunflowers have come into their own. That's still what's left of my wood pile. I've been going slow on it. So we're out to the front of me. That's that, what is that tree? That's the nectarine that I got from seed from my nectarine. So it's a white star. And I transplanted it over here. It's had its ups and downs. It's showing some beetles. Everything's showing beetles right now. By the way, let's see if I can find you one. See that leaf? This type of behavior on the leaf? That's indicative of beetles. Borers, probably Japanese beetles or June bugs. Okay, so what's going on? I got a new batch of compost. Rule number 3 of gardening is you never set your drink downwind. You'll figure it out. There's the compost bin. My buddy gives me his chicken scrapings, the whole hen house. I get all my fruits that have fallen. What else is in there? Fall leaves is my main go-to. If you're not gardening with fall leaves, you're not pumping all that good nutrient back into the soil. The way it was explained to me, it's not very scientific. But you extract the minerals from the soil. You get your nitrogen, your phosphorus, and your potassium from the mycorrhizal. The tree brings it up and puts it out into its leaves, where it then gets supercharged by the sun. And that's, the photosynthesis. And then when they're done, they fall and die. And a lot of that, especially the heavier minerals and stuff, are still in that leaf. So, and they specifically call it fall leaves. They don't just say leaves. So fall leaves, I keep piles of them. I get the neighbors to donate. Anybody and everybody, fall leaves is your go-to. That's your base for your compost. You want to add kitchen scraps after that, fine. You want to add your fruit, fine. You want to add your chicken scrapings, and you want to add your manure and whatever else after that, fine. But your main base, if you really, really, really want to go with the best, easy way, not the best, but the best, easy way to get your compost, you start with fall leaves. This is my son's soaking trough when he went through his powerlifting phase. So this was for the ice bath. It's become a combination composter. I fill the bottom 3/4 with woody material, and then the top with potting soil when I grow in it. Okay, so we're over here. So these tomatoes have not done well this year. I also didn't prune the single stem. I kind of let several stems go. This is a Black Prince, and it's just now flowering. It's April something, 15th, 14th, 13th. My sun sugars, they didn't do so well, and they haven't gotten bigger than currants, but they're just now starting to. It's been a weird year. Everything's late. And then I think I've got pink brandywine, and I think this one might be a purple Cherokee. And my asparagus is doing really well. This is year 4 for the asparagus, which is in this entire half, and that entire half, there's 5 of them. Next year I won't plant anything else near it. This year I just gave it a couple of things to help with some mycorrhizal root carrying and whatnot, companion. I don't believe in companion, but I do believe in giving plants nearby so that the roots can talk. Over here I got an early girl. She's been doing all right. The first couple she gave me were like cherry tomatoes or plums, so these will get better. Okay, so then what I did here, and I tend to do this a lot, but I went 5, 3, and 2 in the gaps, jalapenos. These are Jedi. again, if it's over 90 degrees, say again, I haven't mentioned it before, but if it's over 90 degrees, your flowers are not viable. Period. No matter what. These are in the shade, but I hit 101, 102. So we call this shade in New Mexico, and everywhere else this could be full sun most of the day. I get about an hour and a half of shade from that sun. It's pretty much full sun. But these guys, hey Katie, she's just gonna come jump right in the middle of us. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the gaps. They like to be a little crowded. You don't want to give them a full square foot. They don't do as well. And then I throw some tomato cages in and about, and I kind of weave them through as I go. It's just enough for when there's a big windy day, it stops this from blowing all over creation. And if you're wondering what these are, this is just my hoops for the winter. I just left them on this year because I'm lazy. Usually I tack on a 2x3 right there, one across and one down the other side, and then I can run my clips from it. This year I just said the hell with it. I'm going to clip them right here, and I'm just going to run it back and forth. So that's why it looks jumbled, is because I'm just running the vines back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and they'll root where they contact. Anyway, that's about those stupid tomatoes. So the jalapenos, these are my babies, supposed to be for jalapeno poppers. Next to them I have 5 green chili, New Mexico green chili. These are Spitfires from Johnny Seeds. Anyway, to remember it. And these are Jedi jalapenos from Johnny Seeds. And they did not do well in the early season. They didn't do as well as some of the Home Depot plants, but they sure have caught up. Over here, these little beauties, I started doing hot sauce this year, not just salsa. So I wanted some Cajun flavoring. So I got my Tabascos. And I got my, what are they called? Not Tabasco, the other Cajun. I'll think of it. Over here, I let this go. The pomegranate's doing all right. I've got several, what do I got? About 5 growing over here. I got some real doozies over on this one. I think on the other one I've got 2. So I've got 4 or 5 over here and 2, maybe 3 over on that tree. First year fruiting, so I'm pretty happy. They did fruit throughout the summer. They kept flowering. Now again, it'd get hot, they'd drop their fruit, drop their flowers. And then we'd have rain for 3 or 4 days, so no flowering. And then it'd have sun for 3 or 4 days, and it'd be great. Everything would start to flower, everything would be happy, and then we'd get hit with another heat wave. So everything that did flower died, and then we'd have rain again. That was our year. So that's why a lot of our stuff is really stunted. The strawberries are still down there. They're still holding strong as a living mulch. The irises, big regret, man. All these bulbs that I planted, I thought, I'll throw some irises, and I'll throw some gladiolas, and I'll throw some tulips, some tiger lilies. No, don't do that. Don't do that. They end up clumping. They end up taking over that whole area. Don't have a whole hell of a lot to do with them. I no longer believe in pollinators for bees, because bees are smart, and they're going to go home and they're going to say, I found peach blossoms right here. Go get the peach blossoms. And they are going to get peach blossoms and things similar to peach blossoms for the next 72 hours until they've got their batch. They're not going to come over here and go, oh, look, tiger lilies. And then go back and say, hey, guys, I found tiger lilies. They do their little butt dance, right? Get off. And then spider webs everywhere. So they don't go back and say, I found tiger lilies. Oh, and there's other stuff too. It happens, but it's rare. They go over and the whole swarm comes over and they get tiger lily pollen for that day, or 2 days, or 3 days. Then the other scouts that are out, they happen to find some things. So they go, yeah, hey, we found this. Yeah, hey, we found that. You're right. But they're going to do that anyway. So planting pollinators, plant stuff with flowers. I have peach trees. I have tomatoes. I have sunflowers. My produce uses flowers and the bees find it. So pollinators just takes up space. Speaking of taking up space, my brother-in-law, I don't think he likes me. He showed me his sweet potatoes in February, the slips. I started mine in May and June. I planted one here, and I planted one there, and I planted two over there. Now those sharp, I'm gonna call them dagger-like leaves as opposed to these nice fat ones. Those I think are actual yam. I think I got 3 sweet potatoes and 1 yam. They're different varieties. So I let them grow. I planted them halfway. I watered them every day. I kept them going like this. And then I would break off these little shoots that had roots. And I would plant them here and here and here and here and here. And now, I'd say I'm successful. I don't know what my crop's gonna look like. I was late getting it in. There's been a lot of green growth, which means probably not as much root growth. And I've got 2.5 months before Thanksgiving. So we'll see. Keep you updated on that project. I should have filmed the rest of it. I never put them in a box. I think I put them in, I soaked them in water for 2 days, and then I stuck them halfway in the ground, just like they did in those damn shoe boxes. I just waited a month and put them outside. I don't know. I have a pretty long growing season. Okay. Next, I bought a jujube several years ago. I've been working this. I've been planting it and playing with it. I haven't had suckers like everybody complains. It does look like there's 2 different types, so I've wondered, coming out right there, way above the joint, but I've wondered if this isn't that root stock, because the spines are completely different. But it fruits. Again, it dropped fruit when it got too hot. Here's a decent one, bird pecked. I didn't net this year. I've never netted before because I get birds tangled in it. This year I decided I'm gonna net the individual fruits. I'm gonna buy 3 different size, like 1,000 pack count, and net each one of these individually. My peaches, all this. And I'll leave several dozen at the top for the birds unnetted. I don't mind watching the birds. I got a nature thing going here. There's a lot of pigeons in Albuquerque. So I'm getting other birds beside pigeons because they're coming to eat all the fruit, and that's pretty cool. And then the roadrunner comes in and eats them. And then the cats come in and eat that. Or eat the other bird. They don't eat the roadrunner. Roadrunner will kick their ass. And then they go, what else we have? We have coyotes roaming around the outside. We have rabbits that are trying to peek in on the edges. I don't mind a little bit of wildlife in my yard. Anyway, the jujube is great. It is a long, L-A-N-G, it's pronounced long, not laying. And so they say to get a second one, typically, and there's more growing up there, so it'll keep going all year. Like it starts fruiting in May, late May, and it fruits until August, September. It didn't need a companion. It didn't need a cross-pollinator. You'll get a lot if you do that. I got plenty. Plus, nobody likes to eat it except me. It tastes like a green apple that's dry but sweet, really sweet when it's green. As it's turning brown is when I like them best. It gets a little more mature flavor. And then as it dries and dehydrates, it turns into kind of a dry date and has kind of a nougaty or like an angel food cake texture. And they're really yummy. This was my potato mountain. I didn't do so well. In fact, if you look right here, I still got some potatoes poking out. I'll just stick them in. They'll grow. I'll have potatoes there next year. That's a thing, a tree. It's not a mulberry. It's I'll think of it. I got one over here too. It's a hackberry. And I'm hoping it's the big hackberry. You got You get most of the hackberries are tiny, and they're edible, but you want the big one. I hope that's the big one. Again, more irises to clutter everything. This was strawberry, and you can see that they just have not done well. But I've had a rough time getting anything to grow over here. So the wife came in and planted flowers and 4 o'clocks. We planted a lot of sunflower. We're trying to just maybe get something growing over there and get that soil awake. Hasn't been successful. Just like my bur oak right here. You know, I planted a bur oak here years ago from an actual acorn. Those are cool, by the way. Struggled. But then I planted this peach tree from the sapling from my other peach tree, and it's just done amazing. I did it in a scaffold style instead of a traditional opening. There's like 3 cats over here, and I don't think they're even mine. That peach does really good. Peaches tend to fall very true to the parent. So there's Mama Dearest right there. Oh, she's been a wonderful producer over the years. That's one of my favorite trees. And that's the baby. And the baby gives bigger and sweeter and juicier fruit than Mama. Mama gives more, but got a lot of issues with Mama too. Let's see. I'm going up the stairs on the right side. Again, trying to grow something here. I will block this off. The way I've got the block walls going, I'm going to continue here and continue down around there. It will look finished. Here's some volunteers. These are Chinese pistache. And I have a couple of them going here. So I'm going to let them grow. I think these are 2 or 3 years old now. No use for them. I don't know. I thought they were ash, Arizona ash or green ash or black ash. I'm not sure what that is. But they're actually Chinese pistache, probably from the birds. Hey, there's a cat. Watch that cat. Watch that cat. Watch this jump. She's just gonna... Wonder if there's a bird there. Oh well. So pomegranate tree. These are cuttings from this pomegranate on the side of the road. I pulled over. I told my son, chop 3 or 4 of those branches off, about this size. That's what he grabbed out of the car window. He didn't even get out because he's lazy. And I brought him home and I chopped them into 1-inch or 2-inch pieces. And I tried to get multiple joints on each one, and I found it way too wrong. I did soda bottles. I did 20, 30 different types of styles trying it. I didn't know anything. Now I would do it like a fig, but then I didn't know. So, but I ended up getting out of about 120 pieces. I ended up getting about 19. I got about 10 of those to live in the ground. I gave a bunch away, and I took the best 2, and over time. So, worked for me. First year fruiting. Like I said, there's I think 2 on this one. This year. It's a little bit. There's that cat. He was going. This used to be one of my flower beds, or one of my garden beds. I used to grow. I used to grow melons over here. They're gonna just disappear. I used to grow melons over here, and I'd let them sprawl out across this, but it's a little dark. That's the afternoon shade, so. And I came up here this year. I don't know how well this is doing, but these are pawpaws. And they'll grow and then they'll die. Then they'll grow and then they'll die. And again, I think it has a lot to do with the sun. Some people said go ahead and try it. They're 3 years old. They don't need to be in the shade. And this is part of my shadiest spot. It only gets a couple hours in the morning. But the New Mexico sun, I think, just cooked them. You know, I got one there that are 2-year-olds. I don't know. And this is I always get this one wrong, but I think there's a tag on it. This one is like because those 2 are Austrian pines. Catalina. This is a Catalina pine. I'm pretty sure. It's a cool one. Okay, so that was the wall. I go up, I call it the west wall, even though it's just a fence. It's the only one without a wall, and I call it the west wall. But as you come up, see the neighbors there's a Russian olive, I think 3 of them. And then, but those are good nitrogen fixtures. I mean, they're a garbage tree, but they're good nitrogen fixtures. But I gotta constantly chop this back. She has a Bartlett pear, an Arizona ash, and then a KV plum, which is the ornamental purple plum. So I couldn't plant much on this side. I had to pick and choose what can handle partial shade in New Mexico. Who can get scorched in the morning and then sit in the shade all afternoon? It's kind of hard. Fig, dude, I don't know what it is. This one was just doing amazing. Technically, it's still alive. You can see it right there. But this sucker, if you dig down, and I don't like to do it, you'll find in the roots, oftentimes that the roots are still alive. And so it makes me hesitant. Do I plant another one there, or do I wait to see if that comes up? Because figs are notorious for this. Here's a good one. I think this is oh, what is that? I think this is the long, this might be the long doot. Yeah, the long doot. I did an unboxing on that one. And so it's doing pretty well. It's, it's as big as my tomato cage. I haven't gotten those giant flowers or giant leaves yet. Just started to get my first big ones. For me, that's an indicator that, hey, it hit its mark. Its roots are finding fresh soil. Another Bartlett's pear. These Bartlett's pear are worthless. They make these dingleberries, I call them. If you look at them, hang on. Let's get some in the sun. And these are pears. These things are pears. You probably have them in your yard. Landscapers brought them in. The original ones were seedless, so you didn't get these pears. Well, the problem with these pears is that's as big as they get. That's it. And then they dry, and they turn into what I call dingleberries. And they fall to the ground, and you get them all over your doggone yard. And these dingleberries are a nuisance. And they seed. And they make more. Because somebody brought in some Bartlett's pear from overseas that had seeds. Or pollen, I'm not sure which. You can have one or the other. You can't have both. You can't have the boy and the girl. Same with mulberry. I got 2 mulberry girls. They make fruit. My neighbor says, oh, I got a fruitless mulberry. No, you son of a... You have the pollen maker that's killing all the neighbors' sinuses. Anyway, here's my Celeste. You know what they say about Celeste? They just grow. So, this is another one that died. I think it was, oh geez, I don't even remember. Here's my... I believe this is my American persimmon. This is a plot. And this sucker's gonna go tall. And down there I have my other persimmon, which is a Japanese. So down there in that spot right there, can't see it behind the tree, that's my other persimmon. That's my, okay, so that's a Bartlett pear. Bartlett pear is good. Bradford pear, bad. Oh, where's my Bartlett pear? Bradford pear, down there. And that ugly thing behind me. They get thorns too, Bradfords do. But Bartletts are good. But I have Japanese fruit borers on it, so I've got to chase those every year. They're difficult. Let's see, another pine. This is, oh, I don't remember what fig this is. I don't have my list. That is I can't look them up because I have my list on my phone. But these were all the seedlings. Here's another one, not seedlings. They were, they're from, they're not cuttings either. They were culture samples that I bought. Here's another one. That one's a white Adriatic. This one and this one are my Violet de Bordeaux. That is my Black Madeira, but it's not growing very well. Look, I see that. Yeah, it's a stump. And I don't remember what that one is. I got 8 of them off of eBay, and they gave me the names and they didn't label them. And I figured out what they were. I almost slipped, but I don't know what they were. Okay, this is the east wall. That's the east mountain. Morning sunrise is there. Up here I have a spiny, but not too spiny. They actually call this a spineless because the real spines are about 4 inches. I'll tell you a story. So this is a honey locust. And a honey locust is a nitrogen fixture. It's a pseudo acacia. So it tries to be, it's a false acacia tree. And there's black and there's honey locust that we have. Both of them have thorns. Some of them have gigantic 4-inch thorns. The ones they call thornless are these, and they have little 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thorns. The reason that these things have these ginormous thorns is because mastodons ate these. They co-evolved with the mastodon. And this was the mastodon's favorite fruit. It would eat that. When they say mastodons ate the woody barky stuff and the mammoths ate the grass, well, this is what the mastodons ate. So they've bred these, they bred the thorns out of them. So you get, in landscaping, you get thornless pseudo-acacias, which is usually called a honey locust or a black locust. On this side, okay, I think I told you guys before, and watch my steps so I don't step on no figs. That tree is gigantic. That is a Rio Grande cottonwood. There's one of them in this guy's yard, and one of them in that guy's yard. There's a wall right there that separates them. The roots come all through here. So I let them grow this way. And I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 multi-clusters. And it shielded this whole back wall from my house and made it look green. So I left them. I'll chop them about 2 to 4 inches up, and I'll leave them exposed, and next year I'll get the same similar thing, I hope. It'll just be a thing I do. And there's my, what is that? Rosemary. I'm coming down. Don't kill me.